Hi YouTube world. Today we're going to talk about blanching tomatoes. So I have a number of tomatoes here. I've had a huge abundance in my garden this year and I've given many away. And these are actually too ripe to give away. They're within a day of spoiling. So you can see some of these right here. They're starting to wrinkle up a little bit on the top. And they're just getting to the point where they're just overdone and I can't give these away. And I'm sure I'm going to have plenty more the rest of the season with the same thing going on. So what we're going to talk about today is blanching tomatoes. And what we're going to do first, or what I'm going to do first, is go through and wash all of these. And in doing so, I'll take any green stems off and make sure all the marks are gone. And then the process of blanching is bringing a pot of water up to a boil. So I'll put water in here, bring it up to a boil. I will put the tomatoes in for 30 seconds to a minute, just enough to blanch or loosen the skin on the outside of the tomato. And that's what all blanching is removing the skin. And once the skin is loose, again 30 to 60 seconds, I will pull the tomatoes out with a slotted spoon. And the slotted spoon, I will take the tomatoes, I'll put it in cold water. Optimum would be ice cold water. Actually, I do have some ice. I'll put a little bit of ice in, make it very cold. That stops the cooking process because we don't really want to cook the tomato itself. We just want to make the skin loose enough so that we can get the skin off. And then once it's cool, we'll go ahead and dice it into quarters because I'm going to be making salsa out of this in the future. And it'll just go right into a food processor. So quarters will work fine for me. Put it into a bag and then I can freeze it. And the reason I'm freezing it is my wife's on a business trip right now. She took the food processor with her. She's doing a green diet right now and has food processor, so I have to wait until she gets back. I have everything I need with the exception of the food processor, and I'm going to be doing, I think it calls for like 10 pounds of tomatoes and a lot of onions and other things. I am not chopping that by hand. I will be using a food processor. So let me go ahead and get set up here. What I'll probably do is go ahead and wash these and then I'll show you a little bit more on the detailed steps as we go along. Okay, we're all set up here. I have washed the tomatoes, pulled all the stems off. They're good to go. One other thing I need to do is cut an X in the bottom. So I've done that for all of these. What I'm going to do is show you up here. So this is the bottom side. Just want to do a slit one way, and a slit like that, and a slit like that. You make like a cross or an X in the bottom. So this is the top side, this is the bottom right here. That will allow it to penetrate and allow the skin to peel off a little easier. So I have water or ice here. I have my water ready, so I'm just going to empty that in and add a little bit more water. Just get the last little bit out. That'll help cool the water down, give it a quick stir so it'll be nice and cold. My water in the pot is boiling and ready to go. So let me grab a couple of these. Drop them in. They say to do only about a pound of tomatoes at a time. And part of the reason being is I don't know if you probably can't see the water from here, but when I put these in, it just about stopped boiling. So I don't know if that was a pound or not. What I want to do is keep it at boiling. So if I was going to be very rigid about the time, I'd go ahead and plug the timer in. So I just did that on my microwave. A little bit over here, I'll be a little bit over a minute, but when it goes off, then I will pull it out and move it immediately into the water here that has the ice in it. That will cool it down. Let it sit there for a few minutes, and then once it's done with that, I will move it into this bowl right here with the colander in it. So we will let it continue to cook for 30 more seconds and then I will be right back with you. Okay, my timer just went off, so I can pull these out. If you have more tomatoes to do, keep the water boiling. Just move the tomatoes over to your cold water here that stops them from cooking. And while those are cooling off, I can add some more tomatoes to the boiling water because it went right back up to boiling again. And just get kind of an assembly line process going here. start my timer. And I'll let everything cook and cool down, and when I move it over to the colander, I'll go ahead and start the video again. So I ran through and I boiled all of them and cooled them already, and they are in the colander ready to go. Let me grab one here. So what you do is you just grab the skins, and you see they just kind of peel right off here. And I will peel these off, and there we go, and lay it down. You can see that from there. So then I'll go through and I'll quarter them, and I'm actually going to do this on a cutting board. After this one, I'll do it on a cutting board. Quarter them like this, and then I'll put them in a bowl, and then I'll go ahead and put them in a freezer bag and freeze them up for a couple of weeks until I get around to making the salsa. I do have a couple of these in here with bad spots on them, so I will go through and clean them up and get the bad spots out. Let me grab a towel here to wipe my hands off. I will clean out the bad spots, and I will have good tomatoes. So all I have to do in the future is pull them out of the freezer and use them in my recipe. So all of the tomatoes the skin has been removed, bad spots cut, quartered, and they are in here. One other thing I did do is I dumped out the juice. I'm making salsa and I don't want it real runny or juicy, so I did dump out the juice. After I cut them up, I put it in the colander, drained off the juice, so now it is good to go. I'm going to bag it up. One other clarification, I've been doing this for about an hour now, so I can't remember if I said it early on. I'm doing this with the intention of freezing it because I have to wait. If you're going to make salsa or something right away, you go through the same process as far as blanching, and you don't have to quarter it. You can, whatever recipe you're making, you can just go with it right now once it's blanched, once the skin is off and it's ready to go. In my case, I wanted it quartered because it will cut easier for the salsa. I could use whole tomatoes, doesn't have to be quartered to freeze. So I am going to freeze it. In order to freeze it, I'm going to use Ziploc bags. I think I'll need 2 of them. I labeled it just blanched tomatoes and then the date 9/1/16. So I put it in the freezer in, let's say it goes a month or so, and I'm looking for them and I'm going to be doing lots of things. Then I will know what I'm dealing with. So one thing to help you when you're pulling these out is to fold the bag over like this, so that way it is open, it holds itself open. One thing about bags, if you're trying to put a spoon or something in, with one hand if you hold it open, it wants to close. Well, if you take it, well, the easiest way to do that would be like this. You just kind of fold it over on itself so the outside is coming down. And just kind of do that. Now the rim is on the outside, and actually it looks like one of those fast food hats that the guys would wear. Anyhow, I'm sorry, I diverted. So now it's like a bowl, and it will keep shape, and I can put the tomatoes in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a soup spoon. I know I need more than one, so I'm just going to evenly go between the 2. Take a soup spoon, and I put it into one. Come over to the other one, put one in. And I'll just alternate back and forth until I've used it all. And then I'll seal it up, get most of the air out, and put her in the freezer. And the nice things about these is you can lay them flat if you have enough room in the freezer, and they store really, really nice if they're flat like that. So I will put a little bit of this juice in here. Okay, that's that. And then I will pull it up. I'm gonna get it to take. Try from there. Go. I'm gonna seal it about 3/4 of the way up. I did too much there. And I want to get most of the air out, and then I seal it. And at that point, I can lay it flat in the freezer like that, and I can stack them up on top of one another very, very nicely. And I can do that with multiple different fruits and vegetables. Flatten and they go right on top of one another in the freezer like that. So that's it for blanched tomatoes. Tune in, or actually check our website and our YouTube. I will have the article on putting together the salsa itself probably within the next month or so. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day. Also, do me a favor, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like I say, we'll be putting out more videos here in the next month. Also, check out our website, greatescapefarms.com, where we have a blog post with additional still pictures of this and other information on a number of other things. So, appreciate you tuning in. Have a great day.